One of the topics which constantly comes up at GCSE and at A level, if you're teaching history, is what are the causes of the First World War? And one of those causes, to me, is the inability of the various ministries in Whitehall to deal with a sudden and emerging crisis. There are many other things, that are going all the way off to Princeps firing his gun and killing the Archduke of and his wife, and his wife was pregnant. So there's many interesting causes of the First World War, but one is this chaos in Whitehall, and I don't think that we've solved that problem. So I think, we are now over 100 years on, and we are still dealing with 19th century bureaucracy and little tyrannical ministries that don't really talk to one another. So we've got mad bureaucracy and limited links between the ministries. We've got appalling crisis management. And today, we've got something extra to add into the mix. We've got an obsession with trivia. So the people who are in control, you only have to look at them. They're Priti Patel, and I'm slapping on number 10, Raab. These people are really only interested, they're only stirred into action by the media, by their obsession with popularity. They are distracted by the trivia of popularity and by the thought of their next election. Actually, they're not even thinking of their next election, they're thinking of their next headline. Priti Patel is probably the worst, because the moment she sees a damaging headline, she ferrets through somebody else's files to see if she can find a distracting policy that she's going to announce and then never implement. Matt Hancock, of course, ferreted through his drawers, or at least somebody's drawers, in an effort to do some stationery hunting. Ooh, let's find a pencil. Anyway, what we've got in these ministries is closed systems meeting closed and really rather feeble minds. At one point, we used to have brilliant people in power. Now, and also the self-interest, which we see again and again through the COVID. It's exposed. People giving favours to their friends, to the pub landlord, and so on. Little empires they're forming. There's another issue, a lack of depth, a lack of serious knowledge, and a lack of an ability to master a brief and apply yourself to serious knowledge. So these career politicians are very good at doing headlines. They're not very good at mastering detail. And we need serious knowledge. It doesn't matter really what the knowledge is. This is one of the extraordinary things, and this was the strength of 19th century bureaucracy, that you had coming into this limited Whitehall system. You had brilliant minds who'd been well trained and could apply their training in classics or whatever to whatever issue was at hand. We don't have those minds at the moment. What we have are people who are only focused on their popularity. Even Boris, who's actually had the training that most 19th century good politicians had got. Even Boris. Now, this gives us a dependence, as we saw, as COVID erupted, on quangos. And that's exactly what we had in the 1914 war. We also see in the Afghan crisis how a crisis develops so much faster today than it did in 1914. In 1914, the development of the First World War happened so fast, it took the politicians by surprise. How much faster has this crisis taken place in Afghanistan, so fast that Raab didn't even have time to apply all his tube of factor 10. And we can think, should we turn to the UN and the EU? No. The UN and the EU are as equipped to deal with crisis as Whitehall. These are monumental bureaucracies that cannot act with speed. We need faster systems. We need more international cooperation. We need to be talking to people we don't necessarily like. We need backdoors. We need open channels. We must be ready in the next few years to face uncertainty, disinformation, the growth of chaos, the weaponization of chaos. And we also need to deter politicians like our current crop of politicians from their obsession about rewriting history, or indeed just writing their memoirs, until we have learnt the lessons that are there. This is as true of Blair and Trump as it is of Cummings and Brown and Boris and Hancock. All of them have been at it, all of them are guilty of trying to rewrite the history to make themselves look better, and we are therefore learning nothing from this experience. So we need a complete overhaul. Now, of course, an overhaul means potentially even more chaos. I'm not suggesting that we should be opening the door to further chaos. I'm suggesting we need to clean the house. We need to overhaul the system. Whitehall, the UN, the EU, and our crop of politicians. Bye-bye. Talk soon.